Hello, my name is Emmanuel Rubio. I'm King Pirux in Scirra Store. I'm going to talk about this template I created. It's called Epic Graphic Novel. It's a simple text adventure engine. If you ever played any kind of text adventure, well, this will do exactly the same, but in construct. At the beginning, I'm just going to talk about how it works. So we are going to use the scenario, the layout that already came with the template. It's not very hard to understand, but it has some things in Spanish and some things in English. For main purposes, we are going to use Construct 2, but this is compatible with Construct 3. You can use any one of those. And I recommend XML copy editor to edit the story, the XML files, because just it's easy to read, it's easy to understand, and have a lot of functions that actually are very cool. Okay, first of all, we are going to see how the game works. The entire game is made in one layout, the scenario. Also, you can create a main entrance where you can pick the language. Then it takes you to the game, and also have an ending or credit layout. Okay? The entire story is right in here in the XML. All you can see here is the entire story, but this is divided in English and Spanish. Okay? If you don't know how to use XML, well, just pay attention on what is in blue and what is in black. That's the key of everything. When something is in blue, means this is necessary to find the things you want to show them in your game. For example, this is a dialogue, so it's between dialogue and dialogue. Also, you can create more. All you need to find data. For example, I created fondo that have a keyword to show a background called Zelda. Also, you can change this background sound. I created this tag that is named sonido to show silencio. If I go to the game template, you can see in juego that all those tags are you can find them somewhere. For example, if I want to change the background, you can see background fondo Zelda, it's going to be this background. Background by itself is just a sprite. Let's find him here with all the possible backgrounds in the game. Okay? How XML works? Well, let's go to the beginning. You can see that here origin is going to set this variable in Historia, the language, and intro. That means the game starts in intro. If I go here, see, this main tag will hold the entire intro dialogues. It's going what this text is going to be shown when I start the game. But you can change it, you can create all you want. As you can see, everything is between this kind of tags. So when I change this last data, I'm going to be switching between dialog blocks. Another thing is how the engine works. Well, this is easy. This is the buttons. This is the area where you load all the data, all the story. You load the XML and it is saved in a variable. Now when it is done, it's going to be set listo to true, so the game starts. And also you see that it starts loading the text of the menus. For example, here is hint, that you can see that hint is going to be here in the XML in the top area. That is because we are going to change the menu according to your language. If we go to the game, we are going to see that here you have the menu, it says in Spanish, selecciona la clave, but in English must be go to hint. So if I go to the game, let's play. And there it is. Then the input tool, it's also to jump from one hint to another. Hints are these tags we are going to use here. If you put that word, then the entire game is going to jump to that word. For example, here is the beginning text, so we are here. Okay? If I want to change, I go here and put another one. You see? It jumped to here. And this is for the text, so be careful for that. First of all, it checks if we are done adding the data, all the story. So then activates the group juego, waiting that this is just waiting that the entire story is being loaded. When it is done, we start the game. And finally, it set the estado to texto. Estado is the state of the text reader. It's going to be used for any kind of jump in the storyline. To stop, to read, to wait. Use this word, use this variable to set the player in a state. For example, if he is looking at options at the menu, then we have the word options. So it is waiting for options. If it is text being written in the screen, then we set to texto. And then we have another more that, for example, here we have dot. When this is shown, that you can see here that sometimes it goes to that estado texto options, and sometimes it's going to see top, right? It's going to show you another thing in the screen. So you can use it to show, for example, your items, or the story far off. You want to show a map, or to show any kind of options or things in your game. Or even if you are in game, you can create a word that says go to game. So when it's in the state go to game, you can be playing any, for example, a space shooter. So while it is on game, then the entire engine is waiting for the next paragraph to show. Here we have final malo, that is a bad ending. It only does a fading to black, you see, and change everything to the beginning, because in this template, in this game that is in the template, if you die, you start again, but you are going to be adding different data, so you start over and over and over again, but you're going to see different endings according to how many times you die. Here is the same, but without adding the data. And this one depends on how much life you have. If you die more than 3 times, then it's going to show you something else. The same goes here for knowledge, conocimiento. This can be used as experience, so when the word experience is going to be in the state, for example, we're looking for conocimiento. Let's go, for example, here, jump. You see this option jumps to here, so at the end is going to give you a 5. You see here is a dead end. You have another dead end here. There's some more options, more dead ends. Let's find the word. You see here, over here in type, I created this type conocimiento. So how it works? Well, you have here tipo conocimiento, And in the engine you're gonna see that in some places, like this one, it is checking the destiny of that word. How? Well, it looks for that word, tipo. See? Tipo, tipo. With text and these brackets, you're asking if what is here. So then you can create an event that checks for that. What happens if destino is equal to conocimiento? In this case, you can put here, for example, sword. In this place, you can find destino. You can see that down here, when a player picks an option, it's going to ask if knowledge was destino, and it adds 1 to experience. You can do the same for a sword, for a gold, for anything. You change that word, you add these how many different keywords you want to have. It is useful so you can collect objects, you can collect data about what the user is doing, what the user is doing with your game. So, how you pick information from the player? Well, asking him. Making a question. How does it work in this engine? If we go here, you can see that every block actually ends in an option. You see, this status text, and the next dialog is going to be always an option. First, text, and then comes the options. Look at this carefully. Let me see if I can increase the size of text. Nope. But, well, you can see that here have 3 data to be careful. First, the ID. In the entire dialog block, you are going to see the order of the dialog by the ID. And in options, it's the same. This goes first, this goes second. If there are more, then you have to add one more, depending how many options does he have. For example, here you have 3 options. The first one is always starting at 0, the second one is 1, and the third one is 2. Now, in the dialog blocks also start with 0 and goes increasing by 1. Be careful for that, because if you go from 0 to 2, for example, when the reader goes to 1, it's going to be a blank and blocked place because it can't go forward. It's going to block you. So be always careful about that order. In the options, it's not that problematic, because you can go from 0 to 2 and it's going to show you one less box. That's it. Well, the option box actually works very simple. The text starts with a few words, then the next text, they belong to me, it's an option. You see, it's between option and option. Here says but, and then another option, and then another option. So the text is building the options that the player is going to be able to pick from. Let's see it in action. Yes. Okay, the text, what happened? Okay, it must be careful. These are some strange fellows. If I lie, let's go here and see. I must be careful. These are strange fellows. Now the option is if I lie to them. So it is going to be between options. You can use this if you want to change the typography of the text. Also, but in Construct 2 you need to change the kind of text box you use. Or maybe it says the truth. The button is going to show answer. You can see lie and answer. so lie and answer. If I lie to them, I could make it stand, or maybe they could be in the same situation. That's answer. See? They could be in the same situation. If I pick anything, answer, it's going to jump for the destiny. If you see, destiny here was mentira or truth, verdad. So it goes to verdad or to mentira. That is very far away mentira here. Because all this text, all these blocks belongs to the line of the story of truth, of answer. See, you can create endless paths depending on the options of the player. And in the engine, it works quite similar. So you can create. In the template, you're going to see this option. If you touch it, the 9th patch, that is the box that shows all the options for the player, it's going to, first of all, set the destiny. See that the last part is changing to the destiny. What is the destiny? Well, if you go here, it says destiny mentira or destiny verdad. You see this block. So it's going to in the template, it's telling it that you have to change the block of dialogue. You could use this also if you want to change, for example, go to another mode. As we said before, just changing the destiny to another kind of keyword, you can do anything in your game. Then the state, estado, is going to be text. In this case, because it's always a text. But if you want to create another thing, just change this. Move it in each kind of keyword you want, what kind of state you want for the game. Paragraph goes back to 0 because we always go back to the first paragraph. And then destiny checks for the kind of text we have now. First of all, check the be careful for this. We change first to what point of our story we are. We move it to truth, to verdad. And in the engine, we check if this word tipo exists. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. It's going to be null. But if it exists, it's going to be adding you knowledge, items, or whatever you want. You see, here it is, but in these others there is not. So there is no problem if you don't use it. If you use it, try to use it good. In this case, destiny checks and it is going to be null, so none of these two options going to be tried. But if you put, for example, let's go to the game, then you put here start the game and go to any kind of game you want. Then the background, as we said before, it always checks for this fondo, so we can change the background according to that. Then the dialogue, it goes to the first paragraph. We stop the sound and we start the sound that we want here. That's this keyword. You can use it for background sounds, and we don't. In this case of this template, there is no other kind of sounds, only the background sound. You can use it for music, for a dialogue, literally. If you want to somebody talk over, if you want to add sounds for, I don't know, explosions or that kind of things, then you can add another kind of keywords here. For example, effects. I don't know. It is effecto, and that's it. You check that word. As you can see here, we play the sound by name. It means that the name I put here is the name that is going to be loaded from here, from sound. In this moment, I only have ruido, ritmo, and another ones. You see, fin, final, ritmo, and ruido. That's all. This hint is going to be changed. So, because in this moment, the only way to go from one point to other to the game, like a save state, like a save in the game, is by the hint. So if you are playing in the game and you're going forward, the last place you have been is going to be saved so you can jump to that point. And that's it. That's the entire engine actually. That what actually you need to do a text adventure. If you go deeper, you can find that actually it's very simple. It is long because I added a lot of options for this game in particular. And let's see, for example, the players. How can I change the... You see, I have John, I have Big, and I have Shadow and another players. Well, that's it, here. They are the backgrounds, and here are the characters. You see? Set animation at the beginning for player 1, and then the frame I want, depending on what kind of face does the main player have. Here, frame it doesn't have, but John, for example, have frame happy. So if we are in John, we go for happy, and here we have John happy. Let's find the character. Cuadro de personaje here. See, I have all these frames. And the shadow hide here. But also I have monsters. So for monsters, I created different or NPCs. I created a main world that goes to that animation. Because go to other personaje. You're going to see here monsters and old man. This one for a particular place in the story. So you can create a lot of combinations according how much deep or detailed you want it to be. For example, if we are in the character diario, you have these 3 old man faces, or just the player or the NPC the player is talking to. How does it change? Well, let's go here. For changing the player or the character that is talking or is being shown the text you want to show, we have created this untouched fondo. What it means that I touch this background, the text is going to progress, and the next paragraph is going to be shown, and also here, as you can see, it's going to ask you what is going to be in the side A and the side B. What it means? Side A is the main one, this one, the big one. Let's hide this one. And B is going to be the last talking player. In this case, it just jumps from one to the other. But you can just edit this and ask the 2 players. For example, I have personaje John and frame and state. But I can create this, for example, char B. I want to be another guy. For example, Big. As you say that he's talking to Big. Okay? Here, if you see, it says where I'm going to search for data. I'm going to say char B, and that's it. So you can edit both frames at the same time. Right now, it just jumps from one to another. What it means that when one player talks, then it becomes the player B. So here is A, and when somebody came to say something new, the A goes to B. That's it. Okay? Simple. Also, it checks for who was the last player, so it's going to be saved if we need to change it in the game. And then, once we touch that, the paragraph is going to progress. So first we show the players, and then we show the text that it's depending on what is it. If you are asking what is texto futuro, it's just the effect of writing. You know, this. If I touch it, it shows you the entire text. So with text future and text actual, I can check in what condition it is. If it is writing or is not writing, or I have to show you the entire text. Well, with that we ended with the template that came with the template. In the next video we are going to create a game using this template, so you can learn how to take the full advantage of this system. Okay? See you later.